Hey guys, Mathel here once again with an update video on the explosive concoction Blackflame Ignite Occultist. Meant to have this out a bit earlier, but was very distracted yesterday when my Twitter got hacked and deleted. So filed some support tickets. If that comes back, cool. If you've been following it, yep, that's the update. If it doesn't come back, who knows? Maybe I stay off Twitter. Maybe I'll make a new one. I don't know. It was pretty, distracting for the whole day. Other things seem to be fine, so I don't know. For now, it's whatever, I suppose. As for the build, it went very well. Played it for an extra day, I think, even, just so that I could enjoy the mapping quite a bit more, because the mapping on this character is really fluid and enjoyable. Got up to like almost level 96, I think. And that was just farming to get more sanctums and alvas completed and doing lots of juicing and stuff. Barracks with the ignite just feels really nice, and once I got into a rhythm for the character, basically in tune with the flask throw of the build, so you got to like kind of throw ahead of yourself a lot and lead with your shots and then run into all the packs with the ignites. It felt pretty damn good, so I think I pretty much never died during mapping. Like, the character was built substantially thicker than last time I played a flask throw ignite, so don't have a huge amount of defense against physical. Still not bad, something like, I don't know, 15k armor, but the elemental portion of things is where a lot of the damage is out there in the game, and I was pretty tanky against that. And then glancing blow, block cap and spell block cap really did help quite a lot too. So overall, really wasn't dying very much, and the clear was insane. The more packs there are, the more mobs, the better the barracks is going to chain, and then just the bigger the screen clear is going to be. So it felt really good, and I did make a few little micro adjustments that you can see throughout the build, but for the most part, not too many changes, and you can go a bit more defensive if you really want, can go a bit more offensive, but you're not going to squeeze much more offense out of the build, I don't think, without some other big changes or anything. The Blackflame was ultimately kind of worth it. You could just as easily do a regular explosive concoction elementalist. I think if you ignored Blackflame and Wither and Occultist, all of that, and just did basically kind of like what I did with explosive concoction last time, but a more updated version focusing more on curses, you'll have similar DPS. It might be a bit tougher to get the same level of defense though, but ultimately I do think the explosive concoction is pretty good at the moment, and then Blackflame has some sort of a place in the game aside from just looking cool. And then ignites in general I think are quite a bit stronger than they used to be, thanks to the lowering of the resists from the curses. So there's probably lots you can do with ignites right now. I've heard of quite a few things anyway, and it's a very satisfying playstyle. Still not going to be the biggest single target ever, but you can get some pretty big single target on some of these ignites out there. So it felt really good coming back to Divine Flesh for the first time in a while, in a very long while, getting 89 Chaos Res and just 75% of my Elemental taken as Chaos. It did make me feel quite a bit thicker. So this is when we started Ubering. I did end up clearing all the Ubers except for Searing Exarch. I didn't try it. I think it probably could have gone down, but it would have been a tough fight. Didn't bother trying it because it's spec'd on the other side of the map. But yeah, the clear for this Cortex felt pretty damn good. I was surprised that my Prolif was working this well, because I didn't think I'd be killing stuff as quick. But this Cortex was mostly just all about having a bit of extra penetration against me, so it did mean I'd take a bit more damage, but otherwise things were taking plenty of normal damage, and that meant that it wasn't too bad of a Cortex. I think I died a couple times on this one, and then got it down. And then did a Feared, nothing too special on that one, rolled it rare, had a bit of extra damage on it as well. A couple deaths there, didn't really think it was worth showing anything off of that. Shaper, however, we were pretty thick against most things here, so it's a fairly reliable fight. I Mavened it, Uber Shaper with Maven, and don't think I died a single time on it. You can take some of these hits, which is the main problem with Shaper. If you can't take any hits, then it becomes really tough. But if you're built into being able to tank some, then yeah, you can make mistakes and position yourself however the hell you want a lot of the time. So it went pretty well, and Alchemist Mark does do a bit of extra damage, but it is honestly an afterthought. It just helps with a bit of extra burn. The biggest noticeable thing is like on cycling damage reduction rares, so that you're doing some fire and some chaos at the same time, but otherwise it just helps a little bit of extra damage. So dual curse on this build wasn't a huge thing. It's mostly about the despair, but Alchemist Mark helped a little bit and did some stuff sometimes. Yeah, otherwise the Shaper went down pretty nice, and not much else to say there, I don't think. We then had Eater of Worlds. It was pretty nice playstyle for Eater of Worlds. Just keep the ignites up. My ignites are about 3 seconds, I think, so you do have to reapply them fairly often. And then I never got the boot enchant to have higher crit if you haven't crit recently, so I'm throwing more flasks than I honestly should be, simply because I'm not proccing Elemental Overload that often. So if you have that boot enchant, and I would recommend it for something like this, you'd double the amount of Elemental Overload procs you'd get, and it would make it quite a bit more reliable and consistent. Otherwise, I'm just throwing more flasks and keeping my ignite up, but at the same time trying to proc Elemental Overload. So the fight itself was pretty good. Died a couple times once again, but it's like a 3-minute fight, so I had to cut plenty of that boring stuff out. But it's not the biggest damage. It is a nice little playstyle though, just doing laps and taking the occasional bit of a hit. It's possible. Maven was a bit of a challenge, but nothing insurmountable. Once again, more of a skill-based fight, but can take hits, can take damage, and it is like a, I don't know, 7-minute fight, 7, 8, 9-minute fight, so it's not really worth watching in full at the moment. The DPS was okay, the positioning stuff was decent, and then it's just going to be kind of a skill-based issue how to set everything up. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. And then I did Uber Elder. Once again, bit of a long fight, nothing really too special to see there, couple deaths. And then lastly, I'll leave you with the last 1 or 2 portals. I was down to the last portal on Cirrus, and fuck that fight once again, but you'll see just the madness that goes on at the end of this fight. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and see you guys next time. Like, where are you supposed to go, man, when there's that much fucking degen and shit? And the thing's fucking thing, and yeah. They didn't die at the start, near the start of that last phase. Yeah, I think it could have still been doable. But like I said, the DPS probably isn't good enough to really race him. And it was so fucking clutch. Oh my god. The stress at the end when I couldn't fucking step anywhere.